Good morning and welcome to the 18th Annual State of the Community Luncheon. Thank you everyone for being here. I just wanted to mention in the back of the room is the event sponsor showcase table. If you hadn't had an opportunity to take a look at it, please do. My name is Barb Engelhardt Carter. I'm with Farm Bureau Insurance, agent owner, and I am your current board chair for the directors of the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you again for attending. At this time, I'd like you to turn your attention to the American flag and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to recognize the Chamber's premier sponsors, and you'll notice that they'll be scrolling behind me on the screens. First State Bank, Absolute Building Maintenance, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Chemical Bank, Consumers Energy, Covenant Healthcare, Cumulus Media, Digital Mitten, Doubletree by Hilton, Bay City Riverfront. And wasn't their lunch excellent today? The Dow Chemical Company, Financial Edge Credit Union, Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works, Great Lakes Federal Credit Union, Huntington Bank, Independent Bank, McLaren Bay Region, Michigan Sugar Company, MLive Media Group, the Bay City Times, MyBayCity.com, Spence Brothers, Three Rivers Corporation, Thumb Bank and Trust, Wildfire Credit Union, WNEM TV5. That was the end. Turn the page. I also would like to recognize the event sponsors, and they too will be scrolling on the screen behind me. Delta College, Escon Group, Garber Buick, Garber Chevrolet Linwood, Linwood Lakes Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau, IBEW Local 692, ITC Holdings, Remax Results, Raymond, TR McTaggart. Let's give them a round of applause as well. At this time, I'd like to introduce Brent Gettle. He is the portfolio manager for Chemical Bank and vice chair of public affairs for Bay Area Chamber of Commerce. Please come to the stage.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming again today. I will be introducing our speakers, but beforehand, I'd like to go over some of the overview for the format we'll be following today. Each of our presenters will be provided 15 minutes to make general comments. Dana Muscat, our city manager, will be speaking first, and she will be followed by our county executive, Jim Barsha. At your tables, you will see note cards. These will be for your questions and answer period. So as you're going through things, please write them down and also maybe indicate if you would like to have either Jim or Dana or both of them if it's a question that's open for either one of them to answer. So again, you can fill these out beforehand, and these will be collected right after Jim's done speaking. So. And after that, we will have our Q&A set up, and that will be led by Mary Koulis. She is the Community Affairs Manager at Consumers Energy. She will be facilitating that. So I'd like to start off by welcoming up to the stage Dana Muscat, our Bay City Manager. As we have here, Dana works for the City of Bay City as the city manager. She served as deputy manager for Bay City for 15 years. She began her employment with the City of Bay City in 2000 as city clerk and was promoted to the deputy city manager position in 2003. She worked for Saginaw Township as deputy township clerk prior to coming to Bay City. After attending Michigan State University, Dana obtained her master municipal clerk status in 2005, and in 2014 earned the prestigious Certified Michigan Municipal Clerk status. Dana was elected as president for the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks in 2008, and is also the past president of the Bay County Clerks. Dana is a graduate of Leadership Saginaw County and the Great Lakes Bay Region Leadership Institute, and served as chairwoman of the board for Christian Life for Bethlehem Lutheran Church in Saginaw and the PTO at Valley Lutheran High School. Dana is a certified public manager through SVSU and also graduated from its Henry Marsh Institute for Public Policy at SVSU. She was a Clerk of the Year for 2015 through the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks, and she lives in Freeland, has been married to Chris for 24 years and has 2 sons, Cody, who is 22, and Connor, who is 19. So again, welcome up.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then I'll have Jim come up here. And our next speaker will be Bay County Executive Jim Barsha. I'd like to welcome up to the stage. And Jim was born in Bay City and is a lifelong resident of Bay County. He attended Bay City Central High School and then graduated from SVSU in 1974 with a degree in public administration. He has served 3 terms as state representative for Bay County, 5 terms in the Michigan Senate, 5 terms in the U.S. Congress for the 5th Congressional District, and in November of 2016, he was elected as our new Bay County executive. He participates in numerous civic organizations throughout the community and was elected to the County Executives of America's Board of Directors last year and was appointed to their National Task Force on Opiate Abuse. Mr. Barsha has a very ambitious agenda to help advance our region economically and to improve government services to the Bay County residents. So again, thank you. And to start things off, I would like to welcome Dana Muscott, our city manager, for the State of the City address.
Okay, good morning. I'd like to express my appreciation to the Chamber's Board of Directors and to Ryan Tarrant, the President and CEO of the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce, for this opportunity to share with you the outstanding qualities of the City of Bay City. I would like to take a moment to recognize my mayor and city commissioners. It is with their support, hard work, and dedication to serve that this community continues to grow and prosper. Please hold your applause to the end. Commissioners, can you please stand when I call your name? Mayor Kathleen Newsham, they're all over here to the side. I don't believe First Ward Commissioner Jesse Daka is here. Second Ward Commissioner David Tarasi. Third Ward Commissioner Andrew Nuzinski, he is also our commission president. Fourth Ward Commissioner Brent Brunner. Fifth Ward Commissioner Rochelle Hilliker. Sixth Ward Commissioner John Davidson. Seventh Ward Commissioner Carice Basmajian, she is our vice president. 8th Ward Commissioner Ed Clements, who is our sergeant at arms, and 9th Ward Commissioner Cordell Morris. Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge my family who's in attendance today, which is very special to me. My parents, Bob and Debbie Van Deventer, are sitting over here. Making a meaningful difference is my greatest motivator every day. Every day I'm reminded of the important work we're involved in and how we're shaping our city. In addition, working with a team of individuals who care as deeply as I do in delivering effective services is energizing, rewarding, and definitely a privilege. With that, I want to thank all city staff members. They are incredible and a talented team. Please stand and be recognized. Hey, guys. Needless to say, the thrill of finally becoming city manager and having the opportunity to deliver my first state of address is ridiculously overshadowed by the stress of wanting it to just be perfect. Last night, along with my staff, we met with our city commissioners to set new goals for 2018, which will be presented for approval in the coming weeks. A project that has taken quite a bit of my time lately, and one that is the elephant in the room, is bridges. As most of you know, the city is blessed to own 2 of the 4 bridges that are located in our city. These are bascule bridges that had a lot of moving parts to accommodate our river traffic, bringing commerce to Bay and Saginaw counties. I want to stress, regardless of what you hear on social media, town chatter, etc., we have a very good working relationship with the county on this issue. They have sat right alongside of us at the table to help find a solution to our issue. Jim Barsha, County Executive, the Bay County Commissioners, Bay County Road Commission Engineer Manager Jim Lilo, Bay County Road Commissioners, Bay Area Chamber President and CEO Ry Tarrant, Bay Future President and CEO Trevor Keys, and Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance President and CEO Matt Falon, along with our federal and state senators and representative, has joined us in finding a solution, one that will involve months of careful deliberation and planning. Last week, all of us attended a meeting with the State of Michigan Director of Transportation to ask for the state to take over the Trumbull-Wilder corridor, which includes the Independence Bridge. The city and other regional partners believe that this is a regional issue and a regional route for many large corporations that are located in that area, such as S.C. Johnson, Bitmat, Bay Aggregate, and for the past 2 years, Fisher Dock, as they carry the large windmills brought to our area by freighter. And then they are driven over the bridge to their home in the Thumb. We also discussed possible road swaps countywide in exchange for the state taking ownership of the Independence Bridge. Our next request to the state, if they forego the takeover option, and we don't have an answer yet, if anybody's asking, was for funds to repair the bridge. Over the past 2 years, we have only received $235,000 per year for repair reimbursement. We currently use Act 51 funds, which is our primary road funding source, from the state for our bridges that could and should be used for our deteriorating streets. If we don't have any additional assistance from the state, that leaves us with one of 4 options. We could do a countywide millage, we could bond out, we could do a P3 agreement, which would include tolls, or the thing people do not want to hear is tear the Independence Bridge down, leaving us with the cost of the demolition and a gap connecting the Thumb area to I-75 route. The City Commission recognizes the seriousness of this decision and are carefully examining all of their options. So we have more to come in the following months. On collaboration, in recent years, we've worked on collaborative projects, making sure the taxpayer funds are being spent fiscally responsible. We have a joint purchase of a ladder truck for the Public Safety Department, which is currently being built with Hampton Township. And about a week ago, we entered into a joint project with Bangor Township on a water main replacement. We are a partner of the Bay Area Water Treatment Plant Advisory Committee and also on the Bay County Land Bank. We have had many successful projects in our city over the past year, adding to our vibrant riverfront and the quality of life, such as opening of the Times Loft, the City Market, the Gold Star Family's Memorial Monument, and the CMURC, which is the Central Michigan University Business Incubator. Many more projects brought to our city by some pretty amazing people are in the works, such as the Uptown Phase 2, the Legacy Building, North Peak Brewery, the Pavilion in Winona Park, the Riverview Discovery Island Park in Bigelow Park, and construction of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. The city also entered an agreement with the River's Edge Development Corporation to market the former City Waterworks building located in Bangor Township. The city completed a road project in the amount of $900,000 in the Midland Street Business District widening the sidewalks to allow for the sidewalk cafes to be adjacent to their restaurants as opposed to being located in the streets. In 2017, we adopted anti-discrimination and medical marijuana ordinances, creating a lot of front-page stories for our area. Both of these ordinances involved heavy public participation and a lot of staff time. We are continuing to work within the housing study guidelines by continuing our commitment to eliminating blight. We took 100 cases to court last year for blight, and all of those cases were decided in the city's favor, every single one. We issued 2,626 letters of correction last year and will continue the enforcement in the upcoming year. Our building permits, they were increased by 10.6%, coming in at 691 issued. And out of the 13,100 total residential housing units in Bay City, 4,772 of them are rentals. Let that sink in a little bit. That's 40% of our housing stock that are rentals in the city. That makes our job difficult as rental housing units statistically are more likely to fall into a physical state of disrepair than owner-occupied. Persons living in rental housing are generally more transient than longer-term residents and may require more education about our community rules and expectations in Bay City. In our case, the average sale price of a rental house is more than $20,000 less than the average sale of the owner-occupied home. On the flip side, we saw 31 more owner-occupied homes last year, resulting in 27% increase in home sales. In our foreclosure sales, they decreased by 38%. We are continuing our commitment to replace sidewalks, upgrade all street lights to LED, budget for road projects, work on blight, and work with Bay County and our neighboring townships and cities to find ways to improve our region. In closing, we want to boost the strength, stability, and appeal of Bay City. This means ensuring that you all have pride in where we live, work, and play. This is where you all come in. We need positive leadership, not negative. We need good news stories by everyone in this room, not negative. All of us together need to spread good, positive news about our city. So I leave you with this challenge for all of you. When you go back to your office, write down what we can do. Look ahead, envision, partner, and develop the city of Bay City and Bay County and the Great Lakes Bay region so we can continue to be an exciting city with the momentum of looking to the future. We want all of you to be part of it. Thank you.
And thank you very much again, Dana, for your comments. And just as another reminder, we'd like to let everybody know again for the cards for the question and answer period. Make sure you get those filled in. And I would now like to welcome up to the podium for our State of the County address, our County Executive, Jim Barsha.
Thank you very much, Brian. I want to thank Brian Tarrant and the officers of the Bay Area Chamber, your Bay Area Chamber of Commerce, for the opportunity for Dana and I to share the progress we're making at the city and county level. And it's not often that I get to be in such a distinguished group of guests and community leaders who have done such a phenomenal job in making sure that we take advantage of all of our assets and all of the many attractions that we have that make Bay County, Bay City, truly a magnificent place, destination to visit as well as to reside. And I compliment our city manager, who I have had a great working relationship for the past 20 years since she began her service with a city-based city, and looking forward in the years ahead to working very closely with her. What I thought I'd do today in my remarks is kind of touch on some of the issues that I enumerated at last year's State of the Community Luncheon at Bay Valley Inn, to give you sort of an update on the progress we've made, and then to touch upon some of the issues that we'll be focusing attention on in the remainder of 2018 and the coming months and years ahead. I touched on Bay County Animal Control last year, and I'll give you an update on that. During 2017, we adopted best practices and completed a strategic plan. We've improved the layout of the facility to reduce stress and illness in animals, particularly communicable respiratory disease. We doubled the size of our cat condos to promote overall wellness, and we are partnering with All About Animals Rescue to spay, neuter animals prior to their adoption. We are waiving adoption fees for our Clear the Shelter events, where some have waited for up to 1.5 hours to give an animal a forever home. To address the issue of feral cats and reduce euthanasia, we have established a trap, neuter, release program, and we have also improved efficiencies by replacing outdated software. We went from one of the worst counties for kill rates in Michigan to one of the top counties for release rates and adoption rates. We are currently at 85% and have almost reached the no-kill status, which is 90% adoption of healthy adoptable animals. In reality, no-kill status is that animals are only euthanized upon owner request and for health or behavioral reasons. I want to touch also on the Bay County Department on Aging, which we created, and I thank the board. And you know what I forgot here? I hope everyone accepts my apology. I'd first like to acknowledge all of our elected officials. If they would rise, I'll try to recognize them, and then our county employees as well. Because none of what I'm about to talk about could have been accomplished without the strong support of our County Board of Commissioners. We have Commissioner Vaughn DeGick, Commissioner Mike Duranchak, Commissioner Ernie Krieger, Commissioner Tom Ryder, and do we have any other county-wide elected officials? Oh, I'm sorry, Cindy. Geez, I was looking to the left. Cindy Luzak, our very distinguished county clerk, and a person you'll be hearing a lot more from in the years, in the months and years ahead. Now I'd also like to acknowledge all of our dedicated county staff, if they would please rise. And I won't go through all of them, but they do a phenomenal job for our taxpayers and residents of Bay County, and we have, I think, assembled one of the best teams. And without their dedication and their perseverance, we could not have accomplished some of the things I'm going to touch on in my remarks. So as I mentioned, in 2017, we did create a Department on Aging, or DOA, and it was expanded to become its own department. With 1 in 4 residents over the age of 60, Bay County has the highest ratio of seniors per capita of all counties in Michigan. And our new department creates opportunities to serve our seniors better. The DOA provides services such as Meals on Wheels, congregate meal sites, homemaking services, personal care, and elder abuse casework. DOA helps connect seniors to federal and state programs and facilitates access to their services. These functions also give people an opportunity to connect with other seniors and remain active members of the community. By aiming to improve health through yoga, Tai Chi, motivational speakers, and healthy living advice, it reduces common issues that plague our seniors, such as depression and loneliness. Quality of life is one of the most important goals for all of our citizens, and we are committed to helping residents enjoy their golden years. The next point I want to talk about, certainly a common issue that the Bay Area Chamber and other organizations, all of our support groups and supporting our Bay City State Park and recreational area, is that of increased shoreline access. Shoreline access to the beach has been greatly improved at the Bay City State Park through the installation of a 320-foot boardwalk. We have added Moby mats offering first-time access to people using wheelchairs. We are actively working to secure beach staging area parking for viewing by all, including those with mobility issues. We lobbied for additional funding to provide from the DNR for daily grooming of our beaches at both the Pinconning Park and the Bay City State Park. We have improved safety of the Tobacco March hunting area, along with a number of other concerned citizens who spoke out, by urging the DNR Commission to increase safety zones and eliminate high-powered rifle hunting from the area of our state recreation area and our wonderful rail trail system. We have treated over 600 acres of shoreline for invasive species from Pinconning all the way to Hampton Township, enhancing the quality of our shoreline and increasing recreational opportunities available to property owners and visitors alike. Next topic is one that Dana touched on, a tremendous collaboration between the city, Bay County, townships, and other municipalities throughout the county. As a member of the Land Bank, it is our mission to partner with our municipalities to maintain the integrity of our local neighborhoods. Our treasurer and Land Bank Director, Rick Brzezinski, has been particularly active in the past year ensuring that the Land Bank has a well-defined structure and standard operating procedures to ensure the maximum number of properties are rehabilitated. Blighted properties are identified for demolition, while others are sold to private third-party developers or individuals for rehabilitation. This ensures a more efficient management of properties to better serve the needs of our communities. Remaining properties can be banked and held for future development. This process is just one way we can revitalize neighborhoods throughout Bay County. Another issue that we've been tackling and haven't been real visible on, but we've been working diligently on for the past year, is that of the opioid epidemic. One cannot understate the huge impact on Bay County of opioid abuse and overdoses. It can only accurately be described as an epidemic. The huge monetary cost borne by our local governments to address the problem, costs resulting from increased crime rates, increased policing needs and court dockets, as well as healthcare and treatment costs, is transcended only by the untold human suffering of those who have succumbed to the scourge of addiction, as well as the family members left in its wake. The toll has been taken on is too great, and we can no longer afford to sit on the sidelines. Bay County is choosing to fight back. We have retained the national law firm of Motley Rice, LLC, to represent the county in a federal RICO, racketeering and organized crime action against the pharmaceutical and marketing companies to curb the unethical marketing of those drugs as well as their easy availability. An example of this easy availability is the case of Dr. Bernard Shelton of St. Clair Shores, who prescribed over 2 million doses of hydrocodone between 2013 and 2016. He was indicted on 21 counts of unlawful distribution of controlled substances. However, criminally indicting doctors after the drugs have entered our communities is not enough. Their availability needs to be limited through cases such as the one that will be filed by Bay County in the coming weeks. Just one factoid that might be of interest. In a single year, there were over 64,000 opioid overdose deaths in the United States, more than the total number of lives lost over the course of the 9-year Vietnam War. And that's annually, loss of lives. Enough is enough, and Bay County refuses to sit idly by waiting for others to resolve the problem. I am recommending moving up the start time of our annual county budget process as well by 2 months from June to April. This additional time will allow for input from department directors and the public to the board and its financial analyst. Upon completion of the executive's proposed budget, the Board of Commissioners will have an early October deadline for its budget submission. This will provide more opportunity for department directors to address any budget concerns. The public hearing is proposed for mid-October. There will be a tentative budget adoption date in November, leaving some leeway into December if additional negotiations are necessary. Transparency is key, with the intent that the increase in interaction will lead to more transparency, not only with county employees, but the public as well. Another exciting opportunity that we're looking at, already put in place, and that is a dental clinic for Bay County residents. We have formed a partnership with My Community Dental Centers, and I want to say there are thousands of emergency room visits from dental issues in Bay County. This is due to the lack of preventative care and delaying costly dental treatments. The new dental center, under the auspices of the Bay County Health Department, will serve up to 3,500 residents in need annually. This clinic will be staffed by 2 dentists, 2 dental hygienists, and 2 dental assistants. It will be open 5 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. except for holidays. Services will be provided for those with Medicaid, low income, and uninsured who normally fall through the cracks. Every kind of dental care will be provided: preventative and restorative care, oral surgery, and removable appliances such as dentures. The location of the dental center is still to be determined, and we are anticipating an opening date in late May. Another exciting proposal we're working on is partnering with MHT Housing, Inc., a nonprofit corporation that has extensive experience renovating public housing units to secure tax credits through MISTA. These tax credits will fund major renovations to Center Ridge Arms, our public housing facility located in Hampton Township. It is important to the county that MHT has extensive real estate holdings in Bay County and a proven presence and dedication to the area. You may recall the recent beautiful renovations to Maplewood Manor in downtown Bay City. MHT partnered with the Bay City Housing Commission to make that renovation possible. The partnership with MHT could result in about $5 million for building renovations, as well as construction work for local laborers, businesses, and material suppliers throughout our county. Bay County's budget could also receive an additional $2.5 million for public interest projects, as well as $50,000 a year for CRA management support. All this at no cost to Bay County taxpayers. Wait, let me correct that, for a total of $51 for the application fee. So Independence Bridge, as Dana covered, I try not to be redundant, has been mentioned with MDOT Director Kirk Steidl to discuss connecting M15 to I-75, which would transfer ownership and maintenance of the Independence Bridge to the state, and he expressed that his budget for infrastructure is very tight, with many existing state highways in need of repair. We look forward to consulting with Matt Chenoweth, MDOT Director of Bridge and Structures, to identify any potential sources of state or federal funding, including grants. The state is still considering the issue, reviewing the submitted information, and will provide us with a response within 30 days. In my opinion, groundwork, including obtaining a value engineering study, should be undertaken to determine the viability of the cost of repair or replace, and I think that is critical to getting a cost estimate on what is the wisest path to go forward. No ideas will be turned away or discounted, and all parties remain interested in any option for funding. We remain willing to assist the city as much as we can as soon as there is a consensus among city leaders. My last point is on economic development, and finally, As I said, nothing is more important to our county and region as economic development and job creation. We are partnering with local organizations, townships, and cities to increase economic development and create jobs, including our Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance, led by Matt Fallon and his dedicated staff, Bay Future, Trevor Keys, Bay Area Chamber of Commerce, your Bay Area Chamber, Ryan Tarrant and his dedicated staff and board, along with Michigan Works, Ed Oberski, and all they do in training our workforce to make sure they're capable of providing the kind of talent that we need to move forward. A recent example of our collaboration is, and I think a great celebration for Bay County, is Dow DuPont's decision to expand their state-of-the-art $100 million expansion of the Innovation Center in Williams Township, which will create approximately 200 jobs in research and development, and those are secure jobs and well-paying jobs. As a member of the Bay Future Board of Directors as well, I know that there are a number of projects in the works that demonstrate that we are a nationally competitive location for businesses to locate. You will be hearing more about these exciting prospects or projects at the Bay Future Annual Meeting. Thank you very much for your interest and attention this afternoon, and I look forward to hearing your questions and suggestions. Thank you very much.
And thank you again, Dana and Jim, for your comments and very nice presentations. As we have some folks come around and collect some of the questions from the note cards, we will move into the Q&A portion of our program here, and that will be led by Mary Koulis. Mary is the Community Affairs Manager for Consumers Energy, and she'll be moderating for us here. Welcome up, Mary.
Thank you, Brent, and hi, everybody. Great presentations by Jim and Dana, and I think that I hope that you're prepared for a very robust Q&A. I think this is going to resemble something very similar to TV5's Asking the Tough Questions, so it's going to be pretty brutal. No, but a couple of takeaways that I got from the presentations is, certainly talking about the positive stories, providing positive leadership in our community, and really the strong collaboration that we have in our community between the city and the county. I think that is just, it just makes our community even stronger. And I just loved hearing about some of the great things that, both the city and countywide, the great things that are happening. So with that, and as the cards are collected, I do actually have a couple of questions. And, I know that you might have addressed that a little bit, Dana, in your presentation, but that housing study that was completed in 2016 and kind of moved forward with that this year. And you talked a little bit about the blight. And related to this, the Bay Area Chamber, their beautification committee is embarking on the improving the corridors into the community, M25, Thomas Street, Jenny Street. Can you talk a little bit more about what actions the city can take on enforcement and blight in that area?
Sure. Are you really just in the corridors coming in?
It's specific to that. Mm-hmm.
Sure. First of all, we're very thankful that the Chamber has undertaken the beautification committee to help us with the blight issue in the city. We look at that corridor, obviously, that's the first thing people see when they come into our city. So we want to start heavy enforcement in that area, and we're thankful that the beautification committee is coming up with ideas and sharing that with the city. We have one code enforcement officer, if you can believe it, that covers our entire city. So she is extremely busy, but she does a very, very good job on that. But we are looking at maybe some of those blocks when it comes time for demolition, if the house needs to be demolished. That's when we'll look at, especially that corridor coming in, and doing some type of development, new homes in that area if we possibly can. I know sometimes our lots are are kind of small and they're not buildable. And we like that when the neighbors take over the lots next to it too, and because they seem to take care of that and they take pride in their neighborhood. when they
Right,
do that.
right. Well, thank you. Jim, I think this one is for you. Our Great Lakes has a long history of shipping materials, including agricultural products and iron ore used in manufacturing facilities. Saginaw, we know that Saginaw's been working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on a deep water port study, and that, clearly would have obvious implications to Bay County. Do you have any information? Could you provide a little bit of an update on that?
Sure. About a little more than a year ago, I was blessed to be able to ask to join with my Veronica Horn, who is here, the vice chair of the vice president of the Saginaw Area Chamber of Commerce and former manager of my Saginaw district office when I served the 5th District in Congress. Great friendship that goes back a long way. Joanne Prairie and a number of stakeholders in Saginaw and Bay County in terms of our dock operators to talk about engaging the Corps of Engineers and the federal government in doing a Saginaw River deepening study, which would allow our freighters that engage in international commerce to Europe and even as far away as Asia to help get to market the great products that our area has to offer, whether it's sugar with Michigan Sugar, whether it is solar panels from Hemlock Semiconductor, whether it is numerous types of agricultural, shall I say, agribusiness products. It could range from fertilizer and pesticides all the way to the wonderful pickled products, fermented products made at Bayview Foods, Mr. Chips up on M13, or of course a number of other agricultural products that are processed here in this rich agricultural region of Michigan. And so we could see additional expanded investment in terms of our tax base and especially job creation and value-added activities to our Bay County and regional Saginaw and regional economy, making us hopefully a destination for investment from agribusiness and from other business products that would be manufactured here. Currently, one of the problems is currently the draft in the Saginaw River is low, and so our freighters can only carry about 50% of the load that a normal freighter would carry. If we went to a 27-foot draft, that would allow the transportation of those products to be more economical by loading them fully rather than half full. And so it would be a great thing. I know that Saginaw County has taken the lead. Bay County, certainly the county executive is fully supportive of that effort, and we await decisions by the Corps of Engineers on the cost-benefit analysis study, and if that proves what we hope it will, we would be in line approximately in 2021 to see an $80 million investment by the Corps of Engineers to deepen the Saginaw River channel, which would enhance the freighter traffic. Now, I do want to mention that it relates to the Independence Bridge. In 2017, we had an uptick in freighter traffic, 133 vessel passages, which was 20 more than in 2016, which saw 113. However, one of the things I'd like to mention about the Independence Bridge, we've all been frustrated by, sometimes being held up when the spans are up. And of the 900 span openings, 133 in 2017 were actually freighters. We do have a lot of pleasure craft and other recreational vessels that traverse the Saginaw River that require either a mast and maybe a flag on top, which requires opening the spans. If, as we redesign the bridge over the Saginaw River, if we could maybe increase that height by 10 or 12 feet or so, we could probably significantly reduce the number of openings of the spans, simply because some of the watercraft that goes under the bridges or travels through the bridge spans is just a little bit too high. And so if we were to increase the height on the bridge, we might be able to significantly reduce the number of openings of those spans that sometimes inconvenience our motorists. So I just thought I'd add that. But I think the potential, if the Saginaw River is deepened, the potential for additional investment and job creation in the region, especially Bay and Saginaw County, would be greatly enhanced.
Thank you very much. This is a question actually applicable to both of you. What is your feeling about the impact of marijuana in our community? Permits that have been issued? Any commentary that you want to make about that?
As you all know, our commission did vote in the medical marijuana ordinance. We do have a $5,000 application fee, and I will tell you that there was, I believe, 30 applications taken out on day one. But only 3, I think, at this point have been returned. I know that people think that we're going to be getting all of this money, influx of money coming in. The $5,000 application fee, as I'm being told by my staff lately, that it really doesn't cover the staff time that they are putting into checking into the background of this. It is filling our storefronts, I will tell you that. It is buying up all of our city land that we have for sale, and it seems to be that that's the hot piece of land to buy. I do hear from realtors that there's a lot of interest in our area to have storefronts. I know some people will not be happy with it downtown. There are some interest in putting some in our downtown area. But it is what it is. We have, you know, it's coming. It's probably going to be legal, we think, probably in the next year or 2, and then we'll have to look at it again because things are going to have to change at that point as far as our licensing goes. I know you can address out in the county. They have it in Bangor and some of the other smaller townships.
Yes, thank you, Dana. Penn County Township was, I believe, the first in the county and almost the first in the state to show an interest in marijuana grow operations and the benefits that they believe would accrue from that, primarily the amount of additional revenue for their local government. In fact, Penn County Township is in the process of negotiating with the county a K-9 unit, which would be available countywide, along with a vehicle, and then 2 interceptor vehicles and 2 deputies that they would pay for from the Bay County Sheriff's Department. Incidentally, Sheriff, you did not stand when I asked for countywide officials. He's done a great job with opioid abuse and a tremendous job since he's assumed the reins as Sheriff of Bay County, but we would have 2 additional deputies to help patrol in Penn County Township, and that is currently in the process of being negotiated. I know that Calhoun Township, the city of Bay City, and Bangor Township, Glen Rowley, it was in the audience. I love your quotes from the Free Press there, Glenn. Handsome host, trees, water, and roads for Bangor Township. But I know that the county does not have a role in approval of the licenses or the dispensary permits, I guess. And so even though we would benefit by receiving about 3% of the excise tax on the product that is sold, so it would provide some additional revenue into the county coffers. One individual that I did meet with in Bangor Township, and there's also some interest in Calhoun Township, because of the size of the operation. One individual has been approved by a business in Canada that his parents own. He is an American citizen, lives in Southeast Michigan. They're looking at a $60 million investment into state-of-the-art greenhouses for specifically medical marijuana, not the recreational aspect, because as you know, during the processing of the marijuana product, that THC, which causes euphoria, can actually be removed. And CBDs, I believe, which are addressed to painful issues such as arthritis and other types of pain, can be converted into basically medicine with the marijuana ingredients. And in some cases, the THC can be removed and fully removed. I know this one investor's opinion that their intent was medical marijuana, not recreational marijuana. So we will wait to see how much of this investment actually transpires, and if it does, it is going to mean additional revenue to Bay County, to the cities, to the units of government. And I do want to say that it is something that it's amazing how in the last 10 years it appears that the cultural attitudes with regard to marijuana have changed dramatically. And so it's out there and we don't have a say in it. However, we will be in Bay County experience, I think, marijuana dispensaries and a certain number of grow operations that will be part of our future.
Thank you. Well, there are an awful lot of questions about bridges. Surprise! And one of them, actually, this is for Dana. What solution do you favor for the bridges? And do you expect to see a solution implemented before you leave your position?
Something else, something I don't. Well, I can't say I favor any one of the solutions that I gave today because I think each and every one of them needs to be thought through, and it needs to be thought through very slowly. I think you all saw what happened when we did have the P3 agreement on the agenda, and we had heavy public participation and pushback a little bit of us tearing down the bridge and building the new one. And so that's when we took a step back and decided as a commission that we needed to go through all the steps again. And mind you, the managers before me all went through those exact same steps. This isn't new to me or to the commission that's seated today. They've been doing this for a long time. I think we have records back even to the 70s. The mayor has brought forth that they had discussions back then. I think that the P3 agreements, that's the way things are going lately. That is it's a valid solution to look at. I know tolling is a really hard thing for people to stomach. There are some options there. There's some negotiating that can take place. I know most of you know that we were negotiating, no tolls for people in Bay City, but there's further negotiations that can take place as far as people in Bay County. It just didn't stop there. We would love to have grant opportunities and money from the state to help us with those bridges, because I do believe with all my heart that it is a regional issue. It's a regional bridge that serves people outside of Bay City. And I think everybody needs to take a serious look at that. A millage, I can't say that has been sold to me yet. I just don't see putting that on the backs of people throughout the whole county. But we might have to put that option out there just to explore that and then move on to our next option. So we're very open, the commission and myself and staff are very open to anybody who has ideas that we haven't looked at. And I'm sure Jim too, he's open anytime you want to speak with our commissioners, anytime you want to drop a line to them as well, and give them your feelings or any ideas that we haven't explored.
Okay, thank you. This is another question on the housing study. Can you speak a little bit more to some of the plans that you're implementing with respect to that housing study that was conducted? What are you specifically going to be focusing on this year?
I think this year what we're specifically going to be focusing on is demoing some homes that need to be demoed in the city. There's quite a few that are still out there. And with the weather getting nicer, everything kind of looks a little bit ugly as you're driving around. And so we're seeing those things right now that we need to hit a little bit harder. We have funds to do that, and so we need to start looking at that. We also need to maybe look at adding staff on to our code enforcement, which will help with the housing study and taking care of those issues in the neighborhood. Like I said before, we only have one staff person. It would be nice to have some help for that person to get a little bit more enforcement out there. We also need help from all of you. We need people to tell us when things are out there. There are so many streets and so many homes in the city that we don't get to see all of that. So we encourage you all to send in your issues that you see. In the housing study too, I know we talked about low-income housing, and there are some low-income units that are talking about coming into the city, and that's a decision that the city commissioners need to make with the public housing and what neighborhoods they need to go into. We had a housing study that actually said where they need to be placed if we do bring them back into the city. So that'll be a decision that the commission will need to make.
Okay, thank you. Jim, it was surprising to hear that Bay County is the lead county in terms of senior citizens, in living in Bay County. Can you speak to a little bit more about how you're working with the Department on Aging and some of the initiatives they have to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our seniors in this community?
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, we have, I see Beth, I think, just slipped out. Probably get back to work. She's a great director of Department on Aging. And with 1/4 of our population being over the age of 60, we have to, as a county, respond to their needs, their concerns, and try to ensure that their retirement years are truly golden years for them. And sometimes that can be a struggle, but by offering an array of services and partnering with our state and federal programs, we want to make sure that everyone takes advantage or can take advantage of some of the opportunities that are out there. But I would also, Mary, like to make one more comment. And while we're very proud of our retirees who have built our county, our state, and our nation through their hard work and tax contributions over their adult lifetimes, that it's also sort of a little red flag, because one of the things that I'm concerned about is that many of our millennials or younger people in Bay County sometimes find more lucrative career opportunities in Oakland County or out of state, and that can have a significant impact on the resources we have to provide vital services to our residents. For example, road funding. I see Jim Willow from the Road Commission, a great manager. He has, as well as the city, the counties, receive not a reimbursement, but we all pay 47 cents a gallon on gasoline for federal and state tax. So road funding is distributed not on miles of road in a jurisdiction, but rather per capita. Same thing with state and federal revenue sharing. It's on a per capita basis. So as we see a decline in our population, we also see a decline in our resources. In addition, if we have younger people, I see Jennifer Acosta there. She's a champion. She's here. She's been a champion of sense of place and retaining our younger people in Bay City and Bay County, as all of you have. And if we have a young family that does not have children, each child that is not enrolled in public or charter schools in Bay County represents a loss of $9,200 in state grants per pupil. So if we think of the Bay City Public Schools, if we lose a little over 90 students in a given academic year, that could be $1 million loss in state funding alone. So we need to continue to focus on retaining, at least, if not growing, our population and kind of stemming the decline. I think the last figures I heard is our census figures for Bay County have declined from 107,000 people in the county to 105,000. And so that's not a good trend. It's something that all of us in the room and your elected officials at all levels of government are aware of and working hard to stem and to grow our population, make sure that Bay County and the many attributes that we offer serve as a destination for people not only to visit but to make a home and reside here.
Thank you. And certainly I'll add to that too. We're also very lucky to have the universities and Delta College in our area as well to help teach our young people and educate them, keep them in this community. That's very, very important to help build on that population that we have lost.
Could I just add one more comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, as an alum of Saginaw Valley State University, I'm very proud of my educational experience that I had at that campus. So proud of the beautiful, beautiful campus that's out there, as well as Delta College, which is a member of the League of Innovation, which is one of the elite categories of community colleges across the United States. Wonderful programs. People can graduate from both those institutions of higher education, go right into the workforce. I also want to belatedly thank Linda Sims, if she's still here, and President Donald Shand and the Saginaw Valley State University Board of numerous boards, the foundation, the Board of Fellows, and the Board of Control for their strong affiliation and work in cooperation with the Bay County Health Department. I mentioned the dental clinic, but we also have the Bay County Health Clinic, and it's a community health clinic, and it provides primary care for our underserved individuals in Bay County to have access to quality health care. It benefits the university because we have the great students from the Health and Human Services building and program out there who get actual experience in delivering health care to people suffering medical conditions, and it makes for a very affordable, if not free, access to health care for many people who don't have it across Bay County. So thank you, SVSU and Delta, and Mary, great point in that they train our workforce along with Michigan Works, helping sharpen those skills so that we have an ample, highly trained workforce available to employers that are here and potentially considering locating here.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. I think I'll have one last question here. And really, I have to mention this, that, Dana, you're the first female city manager in the city's history, which is awesome. And we're starting to see more females in government. Yeah. And we're starting to see more female involvement in government. We are certainly seeing more females climb the ladder in business as well. Even at Consumers Energy, we have our first female CEO, Patty Poppy. I just wondered if you had a leadership lesson that you learned that maybe you could share that would be beneficial, or any piece of advice?
Well, sure. It's going to be a little bit of a different twist. I didn't expect something like this.
Sorry.
No, I won't mention any names, but as a young lady, I was in the workforce, and I had somebody actually tell me that I wasn't going to be who I wanted to be. We were in the process of evaluating our jobs and looking to see where we fell in certain wage levels. And I had a boss that was pushing for me to go up the ladder a little bit, and the consultant didn't see it that way and pretty much told me to my face. I was 21 years old at the time, and that probably didn't set very well for me because I kept going. And I always kept that in my mind, to be honest with you. And I don't know if that person knows. That person's still in this area, and I'm wondering what she thinks today, because it was a woman that told me that. It wasn't a man, it was another woman. So I wonder what she thinks about that today. But honestly, I'm not getting mushy or anything, but I have wonderful parents that have always pushed me to I can always bounce things off of them, and it makes me go forward every day.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for that. And again, I think it's important for all of us here to go back and relay the positive things that are happening in our community. And you can clearly see that the city and county is working together, and that it's going to continue to be very, very important to us. With that, I would like to call Ryan Tarrant, our CEO of the Bay Chamber.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate the city commissioners and the county commissioners being here today. One person that I wanted to mention, I know I saw Jake Bennett here from Congressman Kildee's office. Jake is Congressman Kildee's acting district chief of staff. Did I get that right? Yes. Welcome, Jake. Thank you. Just a couple of quick updates on events that we have coming. Next week's Eye Opener on March 9th here at the Doubletree will have 2/5 of our local supers, Bay Aronex ISD's Deb Kadish and Bay City Public Schools Superintendent Steve Bigelow here to give us an educational update. This year's annual meeting will take place here at the Doubletree on March 20th. The theme is our beautiful Bay Area, the past, present, and future. Our Leadership Bay County class, I know we have several members of our Leadership Bay County class here, will be hosting a silent auction this year at our annual meeting, and they continue to fundraise for the sensory room that they are looking to put in at Camp Fishtails. So that's a great cause if you haven't already contributed to it. One other little announcement. The last time I was at a chamber event and a president made an announcement, Bob Vanaventer announced he was retiring, so no such luck for you guys. But we are going to be hosting a quarterly speaker series, and we've named that Leading the Way. The first lunch in the series will be at Bay Valley Conference Center and Resort on April 5th with Michigan Attorney General Bill Schuette. With that, have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you, everyone.
Well done.